Yeah, this is the type of awful bullshit that you enjoy. And I suppose 100%. In contrast, let's talk about some good bullshit that we both enjoy. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yeah, significantly less chalk, whey, and chocolate involved.
Mm-hmm.
At least a little bit.
I'm the whey protein alchemist.
That's just Armstrong. Armstrong would love that bar.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a lot of strong Armstrong content in episodes 13, 14, 15, and 16.
There's one good moment.
There's a good moment. There's also the absolutely ridiculous scene of when he's fighting the Chimera and he punches his hammer and it turns into a little statue of Armstrong.
Yes.
Because that is a secret Armstrong family technique. I would love to meet the man who invented that technique.
That's the moment I was referring to. So, episode 13, The Beasts of Dubleth, opens up with Ed and Al returning to their teacher as equals because they're no longer her student, and saying it's like, we need to learn more about the Philosopher's Stone because we want to get our bodies back. They talk about like the truth, and they kind of talk about how, you know, Al can't, you know, transmute without using like an alchemy circle because he lost all his memories. Or like he lost some memories with his body.
Like everything. It's like how they square. It's like, you know, I lost pieces of me. She lost pieces of herself as well, and is also constantly bleeding on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
He lost everything. There's nothing of him left other than his soul, which is bonded there. So they believe that by finding a pathway for him to get his memories back, they would be claiming some of him back from the truth. How this happens is horrible. I'm assuming we'll figure out why it worked later.
So we then see a weird lizard man is like looking through the window like a pervert at them and is spying on them. And
yeah, it's good to see that I got a cameo in here.
Then we also cut to Roy Mustang right before he's transferred from East City to Central. And he's playing a game of chess with his mentor.
He also asked for a favor from his mentor, and that favor ends up being bringing his entire staff with him. So all of the fun side characters are all coming with us.
Yes.
And one of Gene, who will become semi-important at the end of the string of episodes, complains because he's like, but I just got a girlfriend. Dump her.
Yeah. This was, I suppose, reflected in your experience in the army as well.
Any enlisted man in the military has had this experience where, like, you don't really have any close friendships or relationships, at least in the United States, because you're moving every like 2.5 to 3 years. So you get a lot of very badly thought out marriages, which thankfully I got out of service without any of those, but none of my friends did. And like, oh, well, I just got told by my boss I have to move across the country or possibly the world. Bye.
I'm sorry, Diamond. I know you love me so much, but I do have to leave.
She did love me. She can't lie to me.
Yeah, so we see that Alphonse gets a message that like people know a secret. He's like out the side of the building sweeping the street, and he gets bum rushed by some goons.
Some random goons. We later discovered that they're all chimeras, which is shocking to everybody because as we don't want to be reminded of, our experience with the chimeras so far has been children and women being molded into dogs and then dying horribly. They're unstable, they're barely coherent, they're sentient to some extent, but mostly just feel pain. We also got a little flash of Scar here in this episode where he's still with that family that took him in. And he has just recovered from being wounded, and like all good dudes who rock, he's recovering from his injury by doing bicep curls against doctor's orders.
He's doing bicep curls with the COVID dumbbells. It's just like 2 pieces of concrete on a bar.
It does make me ask questions of where he got it. Because I feel like the small child and grandfather he's living in just didn't have that lying around. He's like, no, I'm doing alchemy to make a weight set.
But I assume that, like, I don't know, he just like ripped it out of the wall because he is religiously opposed in his like alchemy jihad against the third part of alchemy, which is like reconstruction. So he only does like deconstruction.
That's true. Maybe there's a hadith that allows this in his alchemy jihad, where it's like, no, it's fine because if you do it and use it this way, you're simply becoming stronger so you can deconstruct more people later.
Yep. We also so Al gets bum rushed by the goons. The lady goons like gets inside his suit of armor and he can't move.
It is the most violating combat scene I think we've ever talked about on this show, because his head gets knocked off and she jumps inside of him.
But also, how does that work? Because he doesn't have like muscle tissue that has to contract. So what is like the limiting force being able to be generated by his soul inside the armor?
Yeah, it's a bit of a plot hole. Like I feel like Al, if he really wanted to, could just absolutely tear this person limb from limb using his insides, because he could just like whip his arms in any direction he wants and tear her shoulders off or whatever.
Yeah, it's like Al hasn't been hitting the pec deck enough and he can't like fucking hug someone, so he can't just like snap this goon's arms.
Yeah, and like she is stronger than, a girl of her size should be because she's a chimera, but still, he is Alphonse. We've seen him do incredible things. He could very easily just twist his body around and murder her. Like there's a old bit from Robot Chicken where there's a person inside of a transformer when they transform. It's like, there's no room for people. They just get tore apart. Like, I feel like that's what would happen if you climbed inside of Alphonse.
Yeah, I'm getting ripped to shreds by Optimus Prime.
Exactly. But also Al, like, that can easily be, explained away because, like, Al wouldn't murder someone like that in his character.
Yeah.
He is comfortable with violence insofar as punching and kicking people in the head, as we've seen countless times, and we will from now until the end of the series, I assume. He doesn't read to me as, okay, well, you climbed inside of me, I'm taking you for a ride now, motherfucker. Like, he doesn't really, that if it was Ed, perhaps.
Yeah. We also get Scar being, there's been a bounty placed on his head, and two other goons go to capture Scar, and they pull up and he's like, what are you gonna do? And he was like, he makes a decision because Yoki, who is a former soldier or officer, I couldn't really tell, who has been disgraced by the Elric brothers, has decided he's going to be the one to bring Scar in, claim the reward, and then get his revenge on the Elrics. And Scar's just like, me being here has drawn unwanted attention to these people. I'm just going to leave. And he just makes the two goons like unravel.
He immediately kills them. And Yoki should know better. I assume these goons are just hired muscle or whatever. But they had to know they were going there to capture the most wanted man in the country at this point, who has obliterated quite a few state alchemists. Like, you know what? I'm built different. I feel like we can handle him. He's wounded, whatever. Like, Scar could murder you with both hands tied behind his back. And that's exactly what happens. But he doesn't kill Yoki, which is interesting. I read it as, because like Yoki's not a state alchemist. He's not someone who needs to die per Scar's ethos. He's just some dick who's standing there, and he doesn't attack him. Yeah. So he just, you know what? I'll let you live. Go with grace. Otherwise, I'm going to blow your head off with the palm of my hand like your friends.
And then Al is captured by the Chimera, and we're introduced to a new character, which is another homunculus called Greed.
I liked Greed. He wasn't around long.
I really like Greed. And so they have Al chained up, and the motivation for this is like, Greed is consumed by a completely unending avarice for like money, women, violence, power, but most importantly, he wants to be immortal.
Which is interesting, because I assumed the homunculi were immortal, and he explains that he's not immortal, but he has been around for about 200 years. So he's like close to being immortal, but says something that nobody else has ever pointed out, that is, Al is immortal. His soul is fused to something that doesn't die. Therefore, he can live forever, and he wants to be like him. Yeah,
like I think it's really interesting to kind of think about this at this point in, Al being essentially not a person, but a soul bound to an inanimate object that is animating the inanimate object? Is it like, is the suit of armor really Al? I suppose there's lots of philosophers who would, Deleuze and Guattari are like screaming from beyond the grave right now. But it's like, I think it's really interesting of like, what is it that is Al immortal? Is his soul immortal? Is the suit of armor immortal? Or is it the combination of the two? Or is he immortal at all? Because does he exist at all or not?